Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just to let everybody know, we bought this recorder here about recording the meetings and everything, and I just wanted to make an announcement that it will be up here. Hopefully, I operate it correctly here, but we're going to try to see about recording minutes here for this. So I just want to let everyone be aware of it.
Before we start on the minutes, is everybody ready to get started? I got the email from you the other day, every Sunday or Monday, about the minutes, and there's one in here that I wasn't aware of. This one, but I don't see it here. Well, that's got to be redacted or something. Doesn't matter. Okay, it is going to be discussed tonight. All right. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Resolution to accept the minutes of January 9th, 24.
I'll second it.
Yes.
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 Okay, it's.
Yeah.
Resolution to approve January 2024 bills.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution to approve January 2024 payroll, EFTs, and withholding vouchers.
Second. Yes.
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 Resolution to approve the minutes from 2024 organizational meeting.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we'll go over that one now, or you'll get a few minutes. Road and cemetery, that would be good with, where's the area? Old news, you have for us there, Mr. Stanley?
Started with the cemetery, had 6 burials for the month of January. Had 1 foundation order sent in, sold 4 graves, 1 in the township, 3 are out of the township. As we discussed earlier, actually it was in 2023, the maintenance department is going to install the rest of the lumber needed for the cemetery shelter, which are the gable ends. We're going to accomplish that. Just to give you an idea, the lumber cost is going to be somewhere around $650. Like to go ahead and get a set of curtains to curtain off 1/4 of that cemetery shelter to block the wind. I'll be able to move those curtains from place to place, whatever I need to do. Mr. Durbin had found the best deal on the curtain material, and he had first found the price was like $800 a curtain. Then he found some place to get it to me for $250 a curtain. That is a measurement of 9 foot, 15 foot. I've got to get a better or a more accurate measurement. It's probably going to be a few dollars more than 250 foot, because I think it's going to be like 9.5 by 15.4. I'm going to get an accurate measurement before I actually order it. This curtain is also going to have the eyelets to hang them and take down as we need. that's all I have for old in the cemetery.
I might add that, that curtain, it's acrylic, it's waterproof, it's actually a boat cover, so it's pretty durable. I talked to Odyssey, and he said we probably get 8 to 10 years out of it. And like I said, that was, the one price, 800 a curtain, he was 250 for 9 by 15, so it's gonna be a little more lucky. Might be a bit smaller figures.
But the building, are there gonna be more than one, because the building's one.
Right, I don't think that in the future I might have to add two. Four will get me by to know what I need.
Plus you get 4 of those, you get 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, two, it'll be enclosing a corner is what we'll be doing.
He has a sample of the drill we got on stick.
Yeah, I see, it looks like umbrella, that's what they call
Yeah.
umbrella.
And it's so close to our tent, I mean, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, same color as
Just the right color.
Yeah.
Looks
the Bethel Tate colors. New business. I actually don't have really any old business for the road, just that we have ordered I do have the brakes for that F-550 that we needed. They just haven't been installed. That's all the old business I would have on the roads. Going on to going back to the cemetery, we do need to discuss about the cemetery mowing. I talked to Julia, and we can talk to the 2 lowest bidders. Everybody doesn't know this, so I got bids on mowing the cemetery this year, and the lowest bid, there's 2 people that had that lowest bid. So we gotta find out which one we want. I'm gonna get a hold of them, make sure everybody's got the right paperwork right off the bat. And Julia said that we could talk to them and just figure out who wants to do the job. We separate them out.
Are you having rebid it?
Yes, I believe them. Yeah.
Sealed bid.
If they want, yeah, I'm gonna explain my situation and see if they wanna talk a little off there or how that works.
Is there a certain deadline that we have to have that in?
No, I didn't make it official like that.
What you're saying,
I would say they need to know, we need to know about it next week. But I am going to kind of push it, which brings me to the next situation. I will come back to that question you had, John. We are going to open bids tonight for the overlay of Moore Road and the cemetery shelter parking lot. Previously, all the other years we've done this, you all open the bids, you give them to me to look over them. I add up everything to see who's actually giving us the best money for the job. And we'll have a special meeting I'm requesting for Thursday, so I can give you my report so you can make the decision on who gets the job. Bringing in that, I'd like to have that special meeting also deciding if these 2 guys with the cemetery get back with me to decide on who gets that mowing job also at the same meeting.
Okay, so you're saying that just maybe in 2 weeks, they get their numbers back to you, that we would have a special meeting to accept the mowing and,
No, I'm saying in 2 days.
in 2 days. Okay.
Thursday, today's Tuesday, and Thursday, sometime during the day before I go home. That's a request.
Okay, if he's wanting it on Thursday, you guys have time, you wanna,
So before, what time are you doing, 3:30?
Yes. 3:30.
Anytime.
just wanna do it first thing in the morning?
And then, if they'll have it, or you need to give them a little bit of time. I'll give them tomorrow, go Thursday morning. You make that call, it doesn't matter, I'm on.
Yeah,
I just think if you get ahold of them tomorrow,
yeah, I know.
you know, have
They need to,
something
they might need to come back up, drive around. I never thought about that. I guess.
Then for like next Tuesday or something, give them several days to do the all the paperwork process.
Okay. I just had to call you.
So you're saying Tuesday?
Tuesday, yes.
Okay. Let me go. Go on Thursday.
Please.
You wanna do the road bids on Thursday?
Well, is that too many special meetings for you all?
I don't care.
You can do them both on the same meeting as long as you identify that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. That'll be a week from today, correct?
Yes.
What time?
Again, it's either first thing in the morning or we just want to keep it in the evening, keep it consistent.
No, I'd rather do it for evening.
Right, before you get out of work.
That's fine.
3 o'clock Tuesday?
Mhm.
Sure.
Yes.
This is for the blacktop and for the monkey.
Yes.
It's okay, we have to open up the bids. We don't know.
You really can't read them, or normally you can't read them because they just tell you how much each item is. They don't give you a total usually. That's why you have to go figure it. Is that correct?
Correct. One company out of three typically tells it out. If you don't.
Get them from
This one's Robert's paving.
Brown County Construction. Brown County Asphalt.
Okay, this one is from Robert's paving. Okay, it's got more road, it's got shelter. Did you say something about the road? Wasn't there something you wanted at the shelter house that was, the cemetery, that was 2 different bids? Is that all one bid?
I suggested do the way the legal term was that Kathy sent out was pretty sure it was separated.
Two different bids. One for the cemetery and one
Right.
for the more.
No, I thought you were talking about the road cemetery. I might have
Oh, no,
misunderstood.
that's.
I might have misunderstood.
What's already built, you mean? You mean what's already blocked out whole?
No, I meant where you're connecting them. That's
It's
what I
all
thought
the
you were
same
talking
thing.
about.
They are going to connect.
All right, yeah, these here, should I go ahead and read them? Or do you want me to pass them around? Or? Okay, the first one here they gave from Robert's Paving is the Tate Township Maintenance Cemetery Shelter Parking Lot. It's at the 301 base asphalt, 2.5-inch compact tons, 420. That's price per ton is $98, and then it's the surface of 1.5-inch compact. There's 260 ton at $110 a ton, and then it said tack coat if needed. Parking lot may need minor grading and rolled. So,
I'll figure all that up, John. Did my decision.
and give us the final.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do all that.
And then the second bid that Robert's Paving gave was for the Moore Road between Bethel, Richmond, and Crane Schoolhouse. It's for 1.5-inch of compact overlay for 448 surface type 1 asphalt concrete at $110 a ton with a tack coat. Then butt joints at all asphalt concrete roads or driveways. These separate bids on all extra items, partial depth of clear and locations needed for township discretion. Marked in white paint with 301 asphalt concrete at $48 square yard. Then the next is leveling, course variable thickness of 448 surface type 1 asphalt concrete at $110 a ton with a tack coat. Next, below that would be the berming of road of 1-inch crush run, 12 to 18 inches wide, $56 a ton. All millings will be hauled to the township maintenance bill. That's all for Roberts. Okay.
It'll take.
Alright, the next one is Brown County Asphalt.
You don't need anything. There you go.
Okay, the second bid here is from Brown County Asphalt. Okay, the first one in here is for, I'll just go ahead and do the cemetery first. 301 base asphalt, 2.5 inch impact at 550 tons, price at $105 per ton. Then he says a surface of 1.5 inch compacted tons at 350 tons at $115 per ton. Tack coat if needed. Parking lot may need minor grading or rolled. Grading and rolling is figured in the tonnage price. If additional stone or material is needed to level the lot, it will be an additional cost to the township. That's for the cemetery. Okay, next one is for Moore Road. And again, this is for Brown County Asphalt. And it is the Moore Road between Belton and Richmond and Crane Schoolhouse. It's for 1.5 inch compacted overlay of 448 surface type 1 asphalt concrete at $93 a ton with a tack coat. Butt joints in all asphalt and concrete roads or driveways need separate bids on all extra items. Partial depth repair locations needed at township discretion, marked with white paint. 301 asphalt concrete at $45 a square yard. Leveling course variable thickness with a 448 surface type 1 asphalt concrete at $93 a ton with a tack coat. Berming road with 1 inch crush run, 12 to 18 inches wide at $40 a ton. All millings will be hauled to township maintenance building. And that was for Brown County Asphalt. And the third bid is Brown County Construction. Sealed this up better than a Christmas present. Okay, first one, Brown County Construction will be for the cemetery shelter parking lot. It's 301 base asphalt with 2.5 inches compacted at 518 tons at $88.17 per ton. Then surface of 1.5 inch compacted at 310 tons at $102.90 per ton. Tack coat, if needed, parking lot may need minor grading or rolled. That's for the shelter house. The second one in their bid was for Moore Road between Belton and Richmond and Crane Schoolhouse, 1.5 inch compact overlay with 448 surface type asphalt concrete at $108.69 a ton with a tack coat. Butt joints at all asphalt and concrete roads and for driveways. Need separate bids for extra items. Partial depth repair and locations needed at the township discretion, marked with white paint with 301 asphalt concrete at $35.30 a square yard. Leveling course variable thickness with a 448 surface type 1 asphalt concrete at $108.69 per ton with a tack coat. Berming Road with a 1 inch crush run, 12 to 18 inches wide, at $59.51 per ton. All millings will be hauled to the township maintenance. That is it.
Right. You have plenty of time to do your calculations and do everything together then.
Yeah.
What else, Mr. Ed?
The only thing else I had, we had a spinner motor for one of the salt spreaders on the F-550 Ford. It was hemorrhaging oil. And that's it. That's all I have.
That was old and new?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Ed?
The email? No, I don't have any questions for what he's doing.
Do you want to make a motion on these curtains?
Well, we have to make one on the curtains for him to go ahead and go through with that.
It's over $500. Well, no.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we move forward with getting the curtains for the cemetery shelter, that the bidding that Ed had given us.
Second. Yes.
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 We're going to go into. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss an employee for the cemetery and street department.
Your second, referring to this here. I'm still going to bring this up in an open meeting. My name is involved here. You're right. I'm the easiest person to get rid of. Not one. Well, we have to handle it the proper way. My complaint is there was a special meeting on January 30th. I didn't get a notice on it for hiring an employee. When I got the email, it says I was attending the meeting. I voted yes. Well, but what was sent to us to prove it was sent with our rest of our stuff. Did you guys get the same one? Confused. So,
I mean, I don't think it's session. It's,
was there a
It was-
special meeting?
it was mentioned, asked that you were aware of inconvenience if you were out of town. So I think that's why we need to go to executive session to discuss this.
We can discuss it. Let's. Well, I got hired now. Oh, my. 733.
We have a motion to yes. Okay, at this point, I'd like to recommend that we hire a gentleman that was applied for a position for the street department cemetery position that we had advertised, and his name is Denzel Onslaught. So I'd like to make a recommendation that we hire him.
I'll second. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That all for you, Ed?
Yes.
Finished?
Yes, thanks.
All right. Mr. Pike, have any old business for us?
I'm just gonna give you my stats from last month. Call volume was down. Types of calls are about the same, but you got them all there. Responded to 51 calls, took 11 reports, conducted 8 warrant attempts, assisted the other departments 14 times, conducted 19 investigations, and closed out 11 reports. You see the mapping and stuff there, just around the whole county itself. Call volume's down at this point, so cold weather has a play on that. So I call it the calm before the storm this summer. So
I only see one in Tate Township.
yeah, you had the one theft.
About the
I
So
like that map.
I'm sorry.
I like that map.
Do you?
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, the only thing's missing is burglaries. We didn't have any burglaries in the county at all this month or last month, so. And only one breaking and entering, so everything else was just thefts.
All right, anything new?
Nope. Unless you folks got something for me.
I have nothing. Good report. Anybody have anything for Mr. Pike?
Nope. All right.
Thank you for your report, sir. Fire chief, you want to give us a
Yeah, you got January's report in front of you. We ran 151 calls, 45 fire calls, and 106 EMS calls, which was down, which is good. Fire calls were up. We had 17 calls in the village, 21 in the township. We gave each load 7 times. Out the door in 1.4 minutes. Average response time was 5 minutes on the scene. That's an average. The fire loss for January was 13,000. Property saved was 160,000. We had no injuries, fire related, or firefighter injuries or civilian. On the EMS side, we were out the door in 1.3 minutes, on the scene 6. We had 36 village calls, 59 in the township, and we gave each load 11 times. Excuse me. Any questions on that report?
not for me. Good report.
Good.
Number 2, 3 additional hydrants have been installed since the last meeting, which brings the total to 62 since this program began. We just used one this Sunday, one of the new ones, for a barn fire down 125.
I've seen that.
This is the second time we've used one of the new installation hydrants. One back in before Christmas on 133. At the Scott residence, another bonfire. So that just, it's all well and said that, we're helping people with their insurance ratings, getting a hydrant within 1,000 feet. But, we're strategically placing these hydrants, and, so far it's really helped us out. We did have to shut 125 down for 2 hours, which inconvenience some folks, and I about had a stroke and all that like normal. But people, they've got to be right there, right now. They know one way in, one way out. They don't know any detours. Not the one that started the fire. I'm there to just put it out. So when you have to fight with people on the road, we have to command all these different departments coming in, getting jobs. You don't need that on fire. So that just kind of gives you a little indication of what we go through when we're on the main highway. Number 3, we've got one quote on the blacktop ceiling and striping for the parking lot. We've got 2 other feelers out for other companies, so we're waiting on them. Once we do, I'll bring that back to you guys and hopefully get this thing sealed and striped out here in the parking lot by spring. Number 4 on the list, repairs have been completed on the ladder truck and the 2005 pumper by Matt Rose. He went above and beyond just not fixing the gearbox and the transmission. He worked on all the leaky valves on both trucks. They're back up to where they should be. Number 5 is we got the bay furnace in a new bay is now operating. Active. So it is up and working.
Good.
On a side note, with the ladder truck with Matt Rose and the 2005 pumper, I want to thank the maintenance department for allowing us to use Conrad. He has completed all the rear end oil changes on every one of the trucks. He just changed out an air actuating valve on our 91 pumper. It was leaking air, so he tracked it down, ordered that valve. He's got that put on, and I've said it time and time again. That just saved the township just big dollars. And you have somebody in house that can do that kind of work. And I just want to thank Ed for allowing us to use Conrad. And thank Conrad.
Yeah, he's priceless. So on the ladder truck, did Matt, does he have to recertify that thing, or how's that work?
Well, he actually does the pump testing on that every year. So that's what he did. Now, I've got a company out of Arkansas that comes in, matter of fact, it'll be the 21st, and they will test the actual ladder operation. So that's the ladder test. He does the pump test. And then the third caveat of all that is the hose test. So that's the 3 tests that we have to do every year.
Every year on
To
it.
get everything certified on every piece of equipment. But the ladder test, that's the big one. But, we've had all the electrical work done on that, all the hydraulics redone. It's a 1985 truck. But to replace that baby, it's $2.1 million, and we paid $25,000 for it. With all the repairs, we've probably got $80,000, over the years, 20 years we've had it.
Yep, still a good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I've got on old business is the tornado siren in Bantam is back up. It was a bad radio, wasn't receiving the signal. Slapped a new used one in there again, and it's working. So every month we go to every tornado siren we have. We have 4, the village has 1. We report all those to the comm center, make sure that everything's working properly. We're back up 100% on that. So, yeah.
I'm good on new or old, if you guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, the 2021 ambulance is back from Ford. Brand spanking new transmission in it, and haven't heard any complaints. Have you, Coop? No, I have not. Good. So, that ambulance is, and that was warranty work, that's 100% again, so we're good there. Number 2 on the list, I'd like to recommend taking full-time firefighter medic Zach Downing off his 1-year probationary period.
I'll make a recommendation to removing Zach Downing from his 1-year probationary period.
A second. Yes.
Yes.
Number 3, part-time firefighter paramedic Corey Myers has submitted his resignation letter due to the tremendous amount of overtime that he works in his full-time job at Anderson Township. He's had enough years in with us that he requested to be put on honorary status. That's up to our fire department officers. We met our monthly meeting. He's been approved for that. So I'd like you to accept his resignation as a part-time firefighter.
Okay, we'd like to accept the resignation of Corey Myers, resigning from his position. We'd be overwhelmed.
A second.
Yes.
Yes.
And the last thing I have under new business, we need to make notification to the county and the Historical Society to get approval for the proper documents to be shredded in accordance with the Tate Township record retention policy. Last time we did this was May of 2018, and we've got the documentation. We're ready for whoever we need to get approval and get that truck back and get those documents shredded that is approved.
So is that something you're gonna follow up on, and we need to make a meeting then to?
Kathy, you did that the last time.
Yeah, you're
I can leave that up to you to.
Right. Get the list together, from everybody.
I've given Ed a copy of that retention policy. Rob, do you have a copy of the records retention policy for the township?
Not that I'm aware of.
I've made a copy for you. A lot of your guys, a lot of it's permanent, but you can go through it. You have a specific zoning part in here, and all you have to do is go by that. If you have anything older than what they specify in here, you can put it in a box, document what you have, and then give it to Kathy. She can give it to the county. They approve it. Once it's approved, we shred.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
I have nothing else for you. It's a good report. I don't know. Thank you guys very much.
Check out the video here.
I don't. No,
I
I
mean,
can read it.
The video recorder was, we'll go ahead and since you handled it, let's talk about what you guys did.
Well, what we did, we talked about the video stuff we have here, and we came in here a few weeks ago and checked a lot of stuff out, guys know about it. And I think we're set up with the right foot, aren't we, Bruce?
Yeah, I believe we can do it.
You know, you probably want to explain more, you or Shelby, about, you know, what we have here and the type of equipment, what we can do with it, and the cost of it.
We currently, the system that we have is 2 cameras that you see here, and the 2 mics in the ceiling are through Zoom, a Zoom system. That was input in here for the firefighters to do our training during COVID times. That system is able to record video and audio, and it will allow you to store up to 6 gigabytes of storage. A typical meeting would probably be anywhere from a half of a gigabyte to 1, depending on the length of time. So at the end of the meeting, before the next meeting, that information would have to be taken off and put to a hard drive, and then stored with the physical officer. In order for if the physical officer, she's responsible for pulling that information off, she would have to be added as an administrator because we only currently have 1 administrator on the system. And that cost would be $150 extra per year to be able to do that. If we were to try it and it didn't work or we didn't get good sound, we could add another mic into the ceiling. It would have to have an extra power source, but the cost for that mic is additional $500 to be able to have a 3rd mic in the room. Really pretty much about how it would work to be able to pull that off. You can pull either the video and keep that, or you could just keep the audio file, and the audio file is a lot smaller for storage space.
And we could view that at each minutes, each month, right?
You could pull that video off, and depending on how you wanted to look at it or do it, you wanted to put it to the township's website to post it. It would not be something that you could post out as a live feed though of
Right.
the meetings. It would only be something after the meeting is over that you would pull that recorded information.
I would think we'd want to wait for the following month to make sure the minutes is okay, accepted, right?
You have to have it approved, yeah.
Yeah, and then release it. Any questions?
My question is, who's going to be activating this and turning it on and off for each?
Well, we'd have to figure out on, like, to be able to schedule that. You can schedule that to be able to start it. We have the system in here in the closet that you could start the meeting, and it would start recording.
So it's something to look into.
Preset, you're saying, if you
We could preset it, but you'd still have to start it to make sure that it turned on the camera.
I guess we have to okay. Like what? Put it on it. We have to okay here, the current system's a 6 megabyte and, let me see.
It's 6 gigs, so if you could, at the end of the meeting, before the next meeting month, you'd have to pull it off and put it onto a hard drive or a storage USB, and then we would erase that one off so we can have storage for the next month. You're not losing the data, you're just moving it off of the computer and putting it on the separate storage.
But do we have to approve this, $149 per year for having her as administrator?
yes.
Okay, well,
You make a motion?
was recommended.
I recommend you add Kathy to, for the $150 for the second administrator.
I'll second it. Yes.
Just finished right here, so know you want to be held the last, so here we are.
Two things. Only had 5 permits this month. Don't have any old news. On January 22nd, well, actually back in November, I sent her one. The Sharon Milton out on Bethel Concord Road, and she is the property owner of that piece of property out there. But on January 22nd, I sent her 2 letters, one regular mail, one registered mail. These were violation letters, living out of a camper and cleaning up the place. She had 30 days to comply, so she's pushing close to her 30 days. I don't hear something from her by then. I'm gonna get Mr. Pike to go with me and knock on her door, and then I'm gonna change the violation letter a little bit, give her 2 weeks. I don't hear nothing then I will be looking into taking her to court. January the 30th, went to the guy out on 3305 Vic Joy. Talked to him about getting rid of some of the cars. He's got probably at least a dozen cars sitting out there in his driveway. They're all junk. He said he's looking into getting rid of them. Explained that he didn't have a computer to look up on anything on, so I suggested calling DNS or some junkyard and let them come out and buy them from him. I haven't got back out to see if he's got any moved out yet. I will be doing that later this week. On the 30th, I went out to 2564 Salt Air Maple Road. First time I went there, nobody was home. Went back on February the 3rd. There was a man there, said he wasn't a property owner. I left him a card. Told him about the junk, and then supposedly somebody was living out of a camper. Went back out on February 8th, and the lady that lives there, I talked to her. I had problems with these people back in the summer. I talked to the same lady then. She promised me she'd get it cleaned up. She did clean it up pretty good there for a long time, but the place is, it's a mess. It's a total disaster. And she said that she would be getting it cleaned back up for me. So she claims somebody just brings campers in out there and drops them off. I don't know. There was like 4 campers there when I was there, motorhomes. And it's like, you got to quit doing this. And so I'll get out later this week again and see what they got going on.
I hope she cleans it up.
Yeah, they did once
Ongoing
before
problem
when I
there, so-
went out and talked to them, so hopefully they'll stay on it. That's about it.
I'm here for that very reason. I have pictures, because now he's going, instead of pulling into his driveway and getting all this junk in there, he's using the whole street.
Yes, he
And
is.
he has it an absolute mess. I have pictures here if you
What's he
want
doing,
them.
please?
You know, I live on that road, so they right now have 4 camp RVs and they're in various
It's
disarray of
like you said,
getting them
it's
to describe.
all
That's what my name's on the board. If you want to catch them, they're there at night. They got the
Oh, I
whole
didn't-
place to bid on.
I done talked to him I just talked to the lady last week. And, cause when I was there, they actually, I don't know how they got the one car on top of the other.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
They had 2 cars,
At Volkswagen stuff sometimes.
cause they ain't got no forklift or anything to lift it.
Nothing I'm
How they
worried
lifted
about.
that car on top of the other one, I don't know.
I don't know how they got it there either.
But she told me she would have that out of there by the weekend. Is it still
Well, they
there?
got in trouble from the guy across the street because they started parking stuff in his driveway.
Oh, really?
So,
Probably
It's a
shouldn't
matter.
have.
It's just a
Probably shouldn't
regular.
have.
He's in that
Depends on how reputable junkyard is.
Yeah. I know where there's one.
Once
Is
you
it
pick
on the
that
corner
one,
of Tuesday Road?
no, you have.
we've already, we'll get the route.
It's in the-
It was good.
The address on here.
I've heard the same thing.
It's on your,
I've heard it, I don't know.
it's on your paper, last one. You want these, Rob?
Yeah.
4567.
You turn left on Sawyer Maple and you'll see it. It's
Yeah, it's right on
very
the corner.
obvious.
Can't
He's
just-
right, he's got that on the side of that road.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Or there, you can drop it off there, if you don't mind.
Those are years old.
But I am on, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay on. I promise.
Yeah, everybody on my street would appreciate it.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a resolution to vacating the 2 portions of Case Road, whereas Case Road is a township road in Tate Township, Fremont County, Ohio. Whereas Case Road is not used to calculate distribution to the auto registration distribution fund under Division E of Section 4501.04 of the revised code, and thus is not a road certified by the Board of Township Trustees to the Director of Transportation in accordance with the division of mileage in a township used by and maintained for the public.
I'll second.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we need to sign this?
Sabrina, you want to stand up and introduce yourself? Sabrina's supposed to help out by Sabrina.
Last week it was even worse.
That'll be Casey, everybody's at home, like everybody's there. I'll just stand in the corner. Yeah, so I'm Sabrina Steinberg. I, full-time work as an asset manager for Fifth Bank. But in my spare time, I write grants pro bono for local organizations, nonprofits, and local governments. So I'm here to offer my services. Again, I work for Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Shiloh got a $143,000 grant for some sewer work, and I got like a lifetime supply of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. But so I helped Shiloh, Village of Neville, Franklin Township, Felicity, locally, $3.1 million in grant funding. I love projects. I love doing the projects. I did bring a whole folder full of projects to throw at you guys, but, right now I just wanted to see, number one, do you guys want my help? Would you guys like somebody to come, talk to you guys? One of the main things that I do like to do is fire department grants. I brought Assistance to Firefighter Grant Program. The deadline is coming up March 8th. It would pay for things like radios, equipment washer, small projects that you might want, something like $10,000 to $20,000. I don't know if you've applied for them recently in the past couple of years. Fabulous. Another one that just came out is Ohio 250. So the governor happened to find $230 million in his budget for next year. So instead of giving it back to our local taxpayers, he's going to offer it out in grant funding. So she's messenger. And it's for beautification projects to get ready for the United States is 250th year in 2026. So murals or any improvement projects, even small economic development projects up to $50,000. I'm sure you guys are familiar with some of the larger grants, CDBG, OPWC, road stuff. I don't touch road stuff. You know, I've talked to Ed Stanley before. He's great with working with OPWC and other things. But if you happen to have other projects in mind, HIDA once a year gives out 200 carbon monoxide or smoke detectors. So that's a grant that I would apply for you guys. I did that one for Franklin 3 years ago. Just any other ideas that you guys may have. I'd love to sit down, if the fire chief's interested, and see what I could help them out. I know another thing that I do like to do is playground grants. You guys are definitely not interested in putting a playground in anywhere. That is a whole lot of info. But if you decide to do that down the road, I'd love.
We have that one that you done to that 700,000.
But you guys, did you get that email from, let me see.
I get really excited when I talk about grants.
It's on February 9th. Yeah, from the park district. But if what I was gonna do is if we all decide to go ahead and use it,
Do you want to make a roll out? Gary? Decided to use the letter to help us out?
I haven't heard anything about prices.
she said.
Peanut butter cups. Reese's peanut butter cups. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Butterworth. I love Butterworth. No. So really, before I joined the military in 2001, I did grant writing for the Secretary of State of Missouri. We did Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grants. I have a very big interest in giving back to the community. Iraq War veteran. This is kind of my this is kind of my way to give back and to continue to serve. So I'm not asking for any money. You know, I'm not offering full-time services, but you know, small grants, things like this that I can help.
Would you, the last trustee that was here, Bob Redden, he was applying for some, and one of the big one he had in was for the Appalachian grant,
Yes.
connecting parks and stuff.
Mhm.
You'd be interested in looking in and see about following up with what he's already has it submitted a couple different times, correct? Revised it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you know what? So you had to work with a specific engineering firm, like 243 engineers.
He's supposed to email you the paperwork.
I can find them.
Okay.
Oh, let's go ahead and.
I mean, I'm free, so that's something you guys have to. You have mine.
That way.
Yeah, my phone number's on
We need to
there.
make a motion.
I'd like to recommend using Sabrina, excuse me if I throw up your last name here, Schnarrenberger.
Schnarrenberg. Burgers are for French fries. Berg.
Schnarrenberg to assist us in writing grants for several different categories.
I'll second.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Sabrina, I talked to Rick earlier, he said he would meet me tomorrow.
Now, do you want to set up a time that we meet up with her, or you just wanna send her emails about what we got going on? Okay.
Thursday. Friday all day.
Let me get through this.
Okay.
Sabrina?
Yeah.
We were just emailed from the Clermont County Park District about how they have, I think $700,000. And, now, there was one section I couldn't get the print off, because there was, but this was some of the stuff that we see, if you look into that.
Oh, yeah, so this is the one that I got from Franklin Township, where I've gotten my level. So whenever I talked to Wesley, he said, you guys don't have a park, like, what would you consider?
Oh. Not the cemetery. But the
The
cemetery.
cemetery.
The cemetery above is Clarendon's park. Appalachian. If I remember correctly.
Send a check into it, well, you know, we don't park in the cemetery.
Well, I think he's just trying to link it to where you could walk to,
Yeah.
like, the Burke Park, through the
Through the
roads,
Gotcha.
down
The
to
old
the,
shoe factory and.
kind of tie them together.
So yes, I will completely look at, I've done 2 of these that have gotten approved before. With it being tied in with the village, you know, Wesley looking into it. So it needs to be cooperative.
I know he just said the last month, he got on with the village council for, I think he's representing Burke Park.
Okay.
So, it would tie in.
I'll get some ideas and, I'll get everybody's email address, I'm assuming it's on the website. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I think so.
What she was gonna talk about is what she gave to Rob, so she had to go feed animals.
Sabrina. So did you want to talk? No. Rachel?
Say a couple things. You say you had a special meeting in January? Did you have a special meeting in January? I'm asking.
Yeah.
January 30th, okay. Because I've asked more than once to be notified of any special meeting. To table for one thing, and just, that's in accordance with the sunshine laws, that the public can be notified if they request it. So, and I requested it by email. So this is a formal request to be notified of any special meeting. I guess there's one coming up in a week here, Tuesday.
20th February.
What is it?
The 20th of February.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. But I'd like to get on that list. A lot of times, a lot of public bodies, they have a list of several people, including media and so forth, that they notify. So I'm just asking again to be notified of any special meetings. I had real quick, I wanted to ask Mr. Durden, there's a bad accident out there a couple months ago. I think it involved your sign out there, and it's still laying out there. Is there a reason that hasn't been?
Well, I sold that a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually I called the guy that owns the property, he gave him the state patrol, case number, and he's following, the person had no insurance. So it's his
Yeah,
property.
it's been out there a couple months.
Right.
It was a pretty bad accident. Some of them think it's kind of a bad reminder of that.
Right, right.
I was just saying,
Yeah, I sold that property a few years ago, I said my sign was there. What he was gonna do, he's gonna, actually, his plan was to take my sign and put his sign right there. So, I gave him the case number of the state patrol,
Yeah.
and he was following, that's all I have.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because I know it's been a while. Your name's all over it. I was just curious. Also, I haven't heard much about the zoning changes. That's still in the works, or really, I don't know. For the solar.
And it's, yeah, we got it coming, I was just notified by, well, a few months back, I said something to some citizens, to everybody in a meeting, about how if they had any important information, that I'd be willing to listen to it, and somebody, did give me some stuff about the funding after they're up and running, and so I'm looking into that, seeing about adding it into it, and then after that, I will have it done. There's 2 different clauses. It comes down to application fees, and I was notified of some stuff that is being done to the county, so I was looking into it to see if we could add it into ours, so that way we can get funding for it also, for any future solar farms being in this area.
Yeah, it just seems that since the election, the urgency is gone on that, for whatever reason, but,
That's not
It
true.
takes time. Well,
I know,
I've also
it's
got,
been almost a year since it started, and that's all we heard last year.
I didn't take over until September.
Nobody's doing anything about it,
I didn't take over until September.
and
If you ask,
all the finger pointing, Don, it's all.
if you ask any township out there, you,
I'm just saying.
townships out there, nothing happened overnight. It takes several months. And like I said, I started it, it was either August or September I started it, and I've almost got my end of it done. I have made some phone calls, at one of the meetings that Bob, Gary, and I attended with the prosecutors. They suggested maybe we seek counsel about writing some of this up for us. I have a phone call in with a gentleman that specializes in writing solar resolutions.
It's been through this process several times.
I just made that phone call,
Well, I know, but this has been going on since April last year, actually.
not with me, it has, and I did not take it over.
Just one touch on that. Something else I have here, I have a receipt that you turned in for reimbursement, in April. 40 Subway sandwiches, assorted drinks and so forth. Can you explain to me what the, why Township paid?
Why the township paid for it, because we hosted the Claremont County, Board of Trustees meeting here on April, it's here on, and, I invited every single trustee in the township here. I invited several, specialists, Dale Arnold with the Farm Bureau, and people with the, water conservation and everything like that to be able to give, because everybody, when we were looking for when we first started out on this, prosecutors tell us we had to do it one way. The commission office said we had to do it another way, and I figured if we got all the experts together and have one meeting, everybody get on the same page, and it was approved by all the trustees that these meals were bought, and yeah, it was.
Was it voted on beforehand?
Trustees on this board.
Yeah, it was.
That was a question about how you were paid. Things like it came up on a payroll account.
It's kind of a common thing to do that through the trust association.
But the expenses still need to be approved.
Well, okay, just like we went to Union Township and they pay the department, so it's just kind of out of respect the township do take care of it. And like I said, there was a lot of people who were still conservation farm, the county was here, it's.
Who else was here? Were you here for that meeting?
Yes.
Some of your group here, some of the
And
solar
so
group was here as well?
There were some people here.
No, it wasn't paid, it's
Right.
county, from a county.
From the township, from the solar farm, people interested in that, kind of turned into a political thing eventually. Was it part of your solar group was involved in this?
No, you gotta be invited.
It was on Tuesday, March 14th, I submitted a Subway meal package, also had it from the feed mill from, Felicity, she had a food package, and Subway came in, I submitted the numbers to all 3 of us, trustees, and everybody agreed that Subway was the cheapest, and that, since it was also local here in Bethel, there's another reason we went with it. I had it all priced down here, how much it was for the Pepsi, for the water, for the plates, the forks, knives, spoons, napkins, and it was all approved.
Beforehand?
Yes, it was. It was on March 14th, and the meeting was on, I think it was April 20th.
April.
Well, that'll be in the minutes and we can look up.
Yeah. I'll look at that. Yeah, it was a little over $300 for.
Yeah, and it was approved by Gary, Bob, and me. I presented it to him, and everybody agreed on it.
All right, thank you. Next.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I really didn't have anything to tell anything now, but, I just find it very interesting that Mr. Fuller now is bringing this up. We were all here and he's been here at all these meetings too. And is now bringing this up, and we all know that it was all okayed already and that this was the hire, and this is called courtesy as far as when you house something, you feed people. So I think this is bringing stuff up, trying to get us off track when the three of you should be working together. Don't know where Mr. Schuller's coming from, but I thought the three of you guys are supposed to be working together, putting your input in. I'm entrusting you to do your things. Because also the reason we haven't gotten solar done is because our attorney hasn't been very forthcoming. And that's also been in record. We've all spoke about this in the past. So that's just my say. So all this is evident from past minutes, past meetings where everyone has been here. Mr. Schuller's been here too. Shame.
What were you talking about?
Yeah,
You what?
you have the floor.
Okay, so I've been doing some searching with other towns around, just saying about this marijuana, like make a motion, put it on free up to 12 months. We have 13 churches in the township and four schools. Worked with Tate Township, they went ahead to the moratorium. They went ahead and put it in their zoning, and it's in their zoning now for the marijuana standards. I'd like to make the motion to put on freeze now for up to 12 months, so we are zoning it.
So,
Did you check with legal counsel?
Actually, I talked to Christine last night, my neighbor, she's a lawyer, she said she'd be willing to write up for us. I'm going off what Tate Township did, I got the papers here exactly.
I'm not familiar, I just know there's certain verbiage that's
Right.
and all that. I think it needs to be done, I'm good with it. It just needs to be done.
But I just think right now, with everything going on with this marijuana, we need to put it on freeze, and we got our paperwork together, we got our zoning together, so we got all these schools out here, all these kids walking around, 13 churches, we don't need those. Let's see, you know, do it the right way.
No, I agree, if it's like, do it the right way, I don't think we need to counsel.
it's Tate Township's already done it. They put the moratorium on it, and they also wrote up a resolution for their, to ban it.
Well, they put it in their zoning, it has to be an industrial property.
They put it in certain sections.
Put it in there. Or you don't know what you have. You have you have it written up.
I've got the Tate Township, like I said, I talked to Christine last night, which she's a lawyer, a neighbor, and she says she'd be more than happy to write it up. I think she'll go through there and just change things, the wording, put us in there, then we'll turn to the prosecutors. I mean, it's come, we gotta stop it, do something about it.
Okay, there's a board.
Yeah, how about you? Say something?
I've been going to the Bethel meetings on this marijuana, and I've been talking to the mayor, and I've been talking to Emily, and she's invited you guys twice to come and work with them. Last time they passed a moratorium, so it has to be a moratorium. They passed it last meeting. It's passed, it's done, it's over with. Now, the way the laws are written, you're allowed to have it in you, in your car, in your house, but you're allowed to apply for a license to sell it. You're allowed to apply for a place to sell it and set up shop. But none of those last three are allowed till July. So right now you can smoke it, but you gotta treat it like alcohol, not drink and drive or smoke and drive, okay? So you're allowed to do that, but you're not allowed to dispense it, sell it, set up shop, or grow it. Yeah. And I asked the chief, how do you tell if you pull somebody over? He said they have no test. There's no test to tell if they're high.
Absolutely there is. I'm not
Well,
sure
is
why
there?
he says that. I mean, it's
Well, he asked me,
anything
it's
with
on the
alcohol.
minutes. He
Right.
asked me.
Yeah, it's anything with alcohol.
So there is a way to test it.
Sure, a physical test,
On the
like a
road, on the
chemical
side of
test.
the road?
I'm sorry, like a chemical test. No,
Not
but
just
I can
on the
put
side
you
of the
through
road.
field tests to where you got
Yeah.
something called the HGN. You got vertical HGN. You can also go with your standard field sobriety test, whether somebody's under the influence. I can judge
Good,
whether
good.
somebody's under the influence
Okay.
based
Why did he
off
say
my
that?
observations on the standard field sobriety test
Yeah.
or vertical HGN, which is horizontal gaze and nystagmus. So at that point in time, I'm treating that the same way as alcohol. Another indicator, if I smell the odor of burnt marijuana from a car, there's a distinct difference between the smell of marijuana and burnt marijuana. If I smell the burnt marijuana, that gives me indication that that has been smoked in that vehicle or that person has smoked it prior to getting into that vehicle.
All right, that's probably
Same thing.
cause, yeah.
Right, that would give me reasonable suspicion to go ahead and field test them.
Right.
And once I have my clues for my field test, if I feel, yes, based off of my clues for my field test, I can now go take this person to either one of the police stations, I can take them up here to the fire
Blood
department,
test or whatever.
and I can get and I can request a urine sample from that. Just the same way with somebody with alcohol where I request a breath test.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure what he means
I
by
don't
there's
know,
not
but it's
any
on the
test.
recording. I said, you have no way to test it.
Unless he's
He said
referring to some type of a chemical test on the scene or something like that.
The
No.
details we went into is exactly what I just told you. I asked him if there was any kind of a test to do, like alcohol, and he said none. I mean, he said it right on the recording.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. I mean, we've been doing it for years for marijuana.
Well, that's what
I've
I
got
thought.
countless people for marijuana,
That's what I
or I feel they're under the influence of heroin or any other kind of narcotic.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Well, it's on the recording, is all that.
Yeah, that's fine. So we got you. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Being in
Well,
possession.
that's not what I mean.
Yeah, but
we
being
went
in
into it
possession, everything
real
you can't sell it. You can't give it to somebody else either right now.
No,
That's the
right
law.
now, no.
Yeah. So there's going to be certain standards. They're still tweaking the laws at this point in time. I think everything just got rushed all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did.
You can you can grow up to so many plants. So forgive me, I don't want to give you a wrong number. I think it's 3 plants. I think you can grow.
In your home.
But don't quote me on that. That you can grow yourself. You can't give it away. And so if somebody goes to somebody's house or they say, hey, here, have a couple of joints, not like you can a cigarette. You can't do that. You can't even give it away. You can't sell it, can't give it away. So that's the way it is right now. So
Okay, and that's till July, right?
they just tell me when the law changes and then I read it.
Well, Emily, that's why I was trying to get.
Because I don't know what it's going to change to be honest.
Well, what it changes to in July of this coming year is what I'm getting to, guys, is they passed a moratorium. You're allowed to do it, okay? And what they want, they said, if I was talking to them about you guys maybe needing help in your wording about passing a moratorium on this. They said you're more than welcome to come up and talk to them. They can show you what they have so that you can use it. Because it's not the first moratorium they've passed. It passed.
When's their next meeting?
Huh?
When's their next meeting?
Well, this month it's the second. Look at my phone. It was day before yesterday. No,
Travis.
Thursday.
Email letter.
It's Thursday. It's the second Thursday of every month. But this month, the second Thursday was before your meeting. Usually it's the one after your meeting. I'll let you know, yeah, because you can look at all their wording, they get it passed, and they can help you get what you want to do passed. Because I've been doing them. I was the only one there. There's nobody else there. The whole place is cleared. I'm the only one there. So you can talk to them.
So how do you want to go about that?
We have a motion on the floor right now.
They mentioned moratorium here.
Yeah, that's George did. That's what they let themselves do. You want to go through things?
You guys do anything?
We haven't done anything yet, but it's a process.
You guys need to.
Yeah, we've had
concerned citizens come and have brought it up multiple times. But just like the solar panels, it's a process, you have to get the wording, they have to check it, run it through, you know how government is, it doesn't happen overnight.
So we put it up there for a year or more.
But I think Batavia has their own legal counsel.
They
and
do,
they
they do,
don't
yes,
go
they do.
through. And it used to be the previous prosecutor under Don White, I don't know if it's still David or not.
It's Jennifer,
Oh, okay, that's,
yeah,
yeah, no, that's a different,
yes, that's who I've been talking to.
she's been there a long time.
But like I said, our neighbor, she's a lawyer, Ohio State lawyer, I talked to her last night, she said she'd be more than happy to write it up for us and they can submit it to the county.
So it's a process. But you've got a little bit of time, because it's still a process at the state level.
So how do we set it up? Just
So I'm gonna go ahead and let her draw it up, and she can draw it up for you.
Okay.
We'll just go to the fall.
And honestly, no one can start because they have to go through zoning to get a permit to start a business.
Right.
And he has no guidelines yet.
Well, business is if they're gonna be selling it.
Right,
I mean, if they're growing it for their own personal use, that's not a business.
no, but he's wanting to stop any business.
The business. I mean, we have 13 churches and 4 schools. I mean, come on, you know what I mean?
Well, fire department has enough land.
Right.
They don't need more.
So how will you go about
So is it okay if we go ahead and, have, Kristen Steinley,
Yes.
write this up for us, so that we can submit it? She can go off the pages. We all agree?
I agree.
I think so.
She can do it for free, she's a resident of the township. Lawyer.
Did that take a roll word on that?
They're not too good. You don't have
No, I meant for using her, have her write it up.
Well, they say you have to present in the meeting 2 times.
But I wanna make sure it's okay that we have her write it up. Steinley? Let me see, she would, yes. Let me see.
I don't think you have to do this.
I don't know if you love the user.
She'll have it written up in the next meeting.
Yeah, we can see. No, it's, we talk words.
I thought the last night, she said she'd be more happy right now.
And then we'll, I guess we'll send it to the next meeting then?
But like I said, it's gotta be, we gotta put it on the board today, tonight, because it's gotta go 2 times. And I'll have her get the stuff together from now, next meeting, and that way we can submit it to the council. Is that how you do it?
Well, I just wanted,
I've always gone through Julia, so I don't know, that's a different process.
Well, Julie's busy. So maybe we can get the thing with our name on it, so here you go. We have to make sure it's all.
yeah,
Right.
I just wanna have it on record if we're allowed to, if we all agree. If she's going to write it up, we're free to go. So you can take a vote on her writing it up. I'll make a motion that we, have a citizen, Kristen Steinley, who's a lawyer, write up the moratorium for, marijuana. And she, for Tate Township, yeah.
Second? Yes.
Yes.
Are we still in this public participation section? Yes. I scratched my name off, can I didn't plan on saying anything, but since the topic of moratorium came up tonight again, I wanted to remind us that there's some disconnect here on the topic of moratorium where we can or can't do it. We can do it for marijuana, and we have done it for solar. We were told explicitly, I'm reading from the June 13th minutes, Mr. Redden asked our legal counsel, who was in attendance, if the trustees could pass a moratorium to regulate any solar project. Her response was no, the township has no authority to pass a moratorium. Now, I'm all for a moratorium on marijuana, so please don't misunderstand me. I'm against the fact that we were told explicitly not to have a moratorium for something that we were asking for over and over again, that other townships and communities in Ohio have passed. In June of 2023, Miami Township and Greene County passed a moratorium against solar, halted to give themselves time to update their zoning and put it in place. Now, why one lawyer in one county does something different than other lawyers in other counties is a problem that I think would behoove our township to figure out what's right and wrong. So that's really all I wanted to say on that topic.
I think you asked 10 different lawyers.
Right. I don't disagree with you on that at all. And, you know, as my comments that night I made on the side is like, well, it's up to a judge to decide, not a lawyer. And the only way to go to court is if somebody challenges something that you do.
I think it was your point that it's not defendable. Because we're eliminating it, and it's the same reason we can't ban it. We can ban it, but it's not defendable. If somebody challenges, like Duke Energy comes after us.
Well, the follow-up question on that point then is, if her opinion is it's not defendable, if we just take that at faith and leave it at that, when other places are doing other things, I think it would behoove you to dig a little further and get some other opinions, maybe from the Ohio Attorney General's office, if we need to understand what we can and can't do. You know, because this marijuana thing is going to be a big problem for us. And the last thing we want here is get caught with them around our ankles, finding out we've done something that we can't do. And now we have 17 pot businesses in the township just because we didn't do the paperwork right. You know, and I'm not saying that it's a problem to do it. I agree with you guys, and I agree with your motivation to do it entirely. But, you know, there are other citations that I have, you know, from opinions from the Attorney General, for example, on zoning, that the zoning commission has the authority to impose a moratorium on new construction until they can improve their infrastructure to catch up with that. So my question to follow up with our council on that would have been, is like, okay, does the Board of Trustees not have the authority, but the zoning commission does? And the question here then is it more proper that it's the zoning commission that passes a moratorium on this topic as opposed to the Board of Trustees? That's that legality, where the commas and semicolons are and stuff that makes a big difference.
Well, I think even if the zoning commission passes it, trustees still have to do it. If I remember right. That way it goes, Frank, it goes down the line. I think that's what it is. Even though you say a zoning commission.
On a zoning change, the trustees have the final say. But on
Of course, they can overrule it.
Right.
Or
They can
agree with it or overrule it, but that's not the question. Now, the question is not whether or not you can overrule it if they pass a moratorium or whether you can agree with it, is can the Board of Trustees itself, independent of the zoning commission, make that? And that's the details of these, why lawyers get paid a lot more than probably any of us do to make these decisions. But, you know, ultimately it comes down to a court deciding these things, and, you know, it's not going to get there until you guys do something and somebody challenges it in court. And I think that there's a lot of fear about liability, but there's also a great deal of indemnification for you guys as government officers to protect you from liability in the case that you did something that you were doing the best thing you thought the right thing to do. It's about intent. You knowingly did something you know was wrong, that's a problem. But if you did something because you thought it was right, the township's not likely liable for that. So just taking the word of one lawyer on something on this every time is like, you know, lawyers will answer the question that you asked exactly the way you asked it, and they won't think or give you an answer that you're looking for. You have to find a way to ask the question the right way. And that's my point overall about the moratorium. Again, all for the moratorium, but, you know, if we can do it for that, then we need to revisit and just go ahead and blast a moratorium in place for solar right now protect us until we can get the zoning stuff done. That's what we asked for back in May and June of last year. That's all. That's all I had to say. I appreciate your time.